Awesome. Hey, everyone. My name is Todd Cahill, and we are live. Thank you so much for following me. I'm so excited to be on the You vs. You show today with our amazing guest. And if you're just joining me for the first time on YouTube or Facebook or also, Instagram or my podcast, what you're going to find more than ever right now is we're addressing people's main hell. Okay, what I mean by that is I want to bring people on the show that have been through hell and that are getting out of it and creating heaven in their life. And I know that a lot of us are having problems and issues out right now, but we're looking for solutions. I know Ashley was, I know I've been, and I know what that is like: mental hell, or you're in a relationship hell, or you're in a emotional hell, and you're just like, I have no solutions. What do I do? And you feel trapped. So that is really the you versus you battle, and we want to really help you on this show. So I've asked an amazing client of mine. Her name is Ashley Isabell, and she's phenomenal. In fact, her background is she now is a critical care transport. She's been doing that for 2 years, an EMT for 5 years. Got you. Okay, she lost her headset. Okay, so she can save people's lives, but she needs to keep the headset on. She's really studying right now to be a paramedic. That's really her dream. But the other thing about Ashley is she invested it herself months ago to be coached by me, and some amazing problem. I mean, she had a lot of problems, just like we all do, but she was able to get solutions to her problems. So I want to bring on Ashley Isabell to our show today and really get right into it. But before we do, can you just give us a brief overview, Ashley, of your background and kind of what you do, and then where you're from, and then we'll get right into how we can help people solve their problems. So go ahead. Can you hear me?
Sure. Hey,
okay.
Todd, it's great to be here. Super appreciative of you. And yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're. Yeah, try. Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks, Todd. It's great to be here. I'm beyond appreciative to be on the show with you and be able to talk to you and chat with you.
Your headset.
I'm Ashley. I'm an EMT. I've been an EMT.
Yeah, you might want to fix your headset. Yeah. Okay.
They're in.
Yeah, there you go. Try again. Nothing. Yep. Sorry. So we're just gonna fix your headset real quick. Now you're muted. So just put your headset on. You had it working.
Yep, it's on.
There you go. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Is that good? Okay.
Yes.
Hey guys, it's great to be here. My name's Ashley. Todd, I'm so thankful for you that you allowed me to have some of your time today and kind of talk to you about my experiences. I am originally born and raised in Arizona, Colorado. Transplant.
Yeah, the thing's not working. We're getting a lot of background noise.
Ooh.
You had it good when
I don't know what to do.
Can you talk right now? See if it works.
I wonder if it's.
Just keep talking. Yeah, keep talking.
Okay, so I've been an EMT first responder for 5 years. Started with a volunteer service in 911.
Try to take your headset out.
And then
can you take your headset out? It's that your headset's not working. Let's see if that works. Yeah. Use speaker. Yeah, use your speaker. Okay, great. She is not on the show anymore. Awesome. So I don't know what happened. She is in and out. Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to see if she comes on. So we were going to talk about a lot of great things here. Okay, here she comes. 1 second. All right, Ashley, there? Good? I can't hear you. Adjust plugin. Yeah. Just plugin.
Can you hear me now? Does everything sound okay?
It's not good. Yeah. I don't know if your headset actually works.
I wonder. I might be having internet issues here.
No, it's not. It's not the internet. It's your headset. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
You were fine when we first joined together. You were fine, and then something happened.
Well, shoot.
Okay, just keep talking so I can just see where
Does
you're
everything
at.
sound okay now?
It's really bad.
Okay.
Is there any other?
So,
Is there any other someone there that you could borrow a headset from? Is there another headset around?
I can switch. Not immediately, but I can go ahead and switch to a different device.
Okay.
That'll help.
Yeah. Do you have another headset or something? Sorry about that. Yeah. Try another room, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. It's your headset. It's getting all the feedback. I know it's not your internet. It's not your internet. Your internet's fine. So yeah, this is technical difficulties. It's okay. Do you have anyone you can borrow a headset? I mean, it's just I don't know why it is like this, but or do you have a phone? Do you have a phone? Do you have a headset for your phone? Can you re-log in your phone and just use your phone instead of your laptop? Okay, unplug headset and then unmute. Unplug headset and then unmute. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. We'll figure it out.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, go ahead and talk. Keep talking.
Okay. I'm trying to fix this. If it doesn't work, I'll go ahead and log on to a different device here.
Yeah, it's not working. Those are not the TJ Maxx specials, are they? Those never work.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Hold on one second.
Okay.
I went ahead and just.
Yes. Hold on one second. Remove. Okay. Now talk.
Okay, we'll just switch to the cell phone and get orientated to where I am here.
There you go. Finally.
All right.
All right, there we go. Now we can start it, right?
Yeah, let's do this now.
Ashley, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
There
Todd.
you go. Good. See, you are a critical care transport, and you know 911 right there. We had a little quick 911, and you were able to fix it. So that's good. So
Yeah.
Ashley, tell me a little bit about tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, then we'll get right into some of the awesome questions that I have for you.
Yeah, sure. So I am originally born and raised in Arizona, Colorado transport. I started my career in emergency 911 first responder type stuff about 5 years ago. And I kind of got hooked. I decided like this was kind of where I needed to be. It felt like a calling. It felt like it was part of me. And I went ahead and I kept moving forward in my education. I got all my EMT certifications. And then I moved forward and I started with a private 911 service, or I should say private IFT service. So we took basically patients from one hospital to a higher level of care hospital. Okay. Eventually, I worked myself up to be a critical care transport EMT. And I work with a critical care search and assist flight program out of Colorado.
Okay, that's very awesome. So tell me a little bit about a couple months ago that what made you decide that you needed some personal growth, because obviously you're probably going through a lot of trauma, right? I mean, you're probably seeing a lot of people's problems, not emotionally, so to speak, but it could be, but really physically, like people are hurt. I mean, they need you. So what made you kind of seek out that third-party help to kind of pull the greatness inside from you from the inside out? Does that make sense? So what made you kind of decide to do that?
Yeah. A couple months ago, I was in a super weird place. I had some stuff happen in the ER with a patient that kind of really like rocked my world, like all the way down to the core. Like when you deal with kids, it's a lot different. And you process that so much differently than you do, if you see grandma or if you see, Joe on the street,
Right.
So having to process that ped trauma was a lot for me. And I kind of found myself like really questioning, like, who am I? Like, why am I doing this? Like to the point where I almost completely got out of medicine. Like,
Mm.
I didn't want anything to do with it anymore. Like, the trauma was too painful to deal with. Like, people talk about PTSD as far as like if you're in the military, but it's just as prevalent, you know, in first responders, in firefighters, cops, you name it. Like, they live with that PTSD too.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
just
good point.
my life just kind of started spiraling, and my relationship with my husband was just really hitting rock bottom at the same time. Like, we were to a point where we pretty much hated each other. Like, we never spoke. We didn't really do anything together
Mhm.
anymore.
Wow.
And I just decided it was time. Like, I needed help. I needed some sort of help.
Absolutely. So what do you think your main problem was? So if you were to kind of, I know there was a couple that you mentioned, but what do you think, like, what was bothering you the most? What was like the number one hell that you were facing at that time, would you say, if you were to like put it out there?
Sure. I think the number one hell that I was facing at that time was just the negative mindset I was stuck in, the self-sabotaging that I was stuck in, and that didn't help dealing with the traumas that I had to deal with, and it didn't help the relationship either. You know, because I mean, negative breeds negative, and he was feeling all my negative energy. So we basically just piled all this negative crap in a bag, and then eventually, when the bag opened, you know, bad things happen.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. So you obviously wanted a solution to your problem. I mean, so you were in a negative mindset, but then you really, and this is where a lot of people are, even watching this right now. It's like, you know, they might be watching and scrolling in their Facebook, and they might be negative in their marriage right now, and they're just like hating, you know, blah blah. And it really, it's not like you hated your spouse or he hated you. It's just like you've gotten to this point of this emotional baggage, right, and traumas that, you know, you were dealing with a lot at work, and then you're coming home with that, and then he's coming home with whatever he's got, and that's how
yeah.
marriages, you know, implode, right?
Mhm.
So I think the great part of just being a great leader is identifying, this is my problem, this is the hell, and I don't want to keep living in the shadows of this. So
Yeah.
therefore, what is my damn solution? So what
Like,
do you think? So what was the solution for you? So what did you do to get a measurable, specific solution so that you can have an outcome that you were looking for? What did you do?
yeah, so after I had joined Inside Out, I actually learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about all the negativity that like I was breeding in myself, and how much like mean, terrible things I was actually saying like to myself in my own mind, like, oh, you're not good enough, or you're not pretty enough, or you're too skinny, or not skinny enough. And like all of that stuff compounded. And like once
Yeah.
I found Inside Out, like I started to realize all these things that I was saying to myself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I
Wow.
can't believe I'm doing this. Like, and you know, having some emotion code healings and having you, Coach Todd, really kind of like drag the crap out and like kind of air out the dirty laundry and be like, hey, you know, stop the crap. Like, this is what you're doing. It's not okay.
Okay.
You know, and it took a lot of realization. And now that I've gotten to that point, like I have no plans of going back.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's amazing that you did that. So tell me about your, you know, a lot of people want results, right? So like, okay, you know, I make a decision, I have a solution, but what was the outcome of that? So tell me about, where are you and your husband out now? I know, you know, we don't have to share the dirty laundry or anything, but what good came from that? Because I think we're all either in a significant relationship or we want to be in a significant relationship. I know there's some people out there that love being single. They're with their cat or they're with their dog and they're living their life, and that's totally fine. No judgment. God bless you. You're awesome. But, you know, with someone with a significant other or someone that wants one, what did you do to kind of get that peace now? And how'd you get that outcome? Like, was there like daily KPIs you were doing? Was it just like action that you were taking that compounded over time? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so I did a lot of meditating. And that actually, it really helped me kind of totally slow my brain waves down. It helped me open up to more or less a different side of my consciousness. And it's weird. Like, it kind of came to me in a meditation. Like, I'm like, it just hit me. I'm like, I need to sit down with my husband and have like an adult conversation, like not like just a regular conversation, not like a college kid try conversation, like an adult conversation of, hey, this is what it is, this is where we're at. Like, I'm messing things up and you're messing things up. And like, we have a 4-year-old daughter, you know, and I would never want to put her through a divorce and have to deal with 2 different families and all of the crazy drama that goes along with that. And like, I sat down and I had a heart to heart. Like, those are the demons that you kind of hide down inside. And I literally just drug that demon out, and I'm like, this is what we got to deal with. We're sitting down and we're not leaving this kitchen table until it's figured out. And after I did that, like, he's working on his personal stuff, I'm working on my personal stuff. And like, together, like, I think we're better now probably than we were before we even got married in our relationship.
I love that. No, it's amazing. And I think everyone needs to hear that because, you know, I think, there, you know, I don't think I know. I mean, 50% of relationships end in marriage, and it doesn't have to be that way. It's not like God created human beings to divorce half the time. That is God's will for our lives. That's not. It doesn't. It could be 5%. I mean, in India, it's only 3% divorce rate. So I'm not saying they're happy though, but you know, they kind of meet, you know, and they don't even know each other. So they get their whole life to get to know each other. But I think that's really what a great relationship is actually getting to know each other, no matter how long that you've known that person. I think that's the beautiful thing. And then of course there's work-life balance and stuff like that. I mean, you could be called anytime, you're studying, you're busy, your mom, your wife. So again, I think you didn't have any excuses, and you were at a point in your life that it was too much hell, and you had to take action. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is that basically what happened? Your back was against the wall. You just made a decision that you had to have a solution to get some heaven in your life, or you would have even more hell.
Exactly. And you kind of hit that point when your back's against the wall. Like, even in, like, it's a real human body anatomy thing. But like, you hit that fight or flight response. Like, you're either gonna fight for what you want, or you're just gonna flight. You're gonna leave it, and you're just gonna, I mean, 10 years down the road, you could go, well, what if? But it's too late. So and I'm a fighter, so I just had that fighting mentality. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna let this fail.
That's awesome.
And that's where I was at.
Well, congratulations on that. So, you know, keep up the great work, because obviously it's not over yet. You know, just because it's great now, it could get worse, or of course it could get better. It's a choice. So good job on that, making the right choices. You've also shared with me kind of a story that it's kind of scary, actually. And you were trapped. Tell me a little bit about what happened to you recently, and because I want to use this as an analogy. So I want you to tell the story, and then I want to present it how I can make it relatable to everyone that's watching. So tell me what really happened there with the story that you told me yesterday.
Yeah, so one of my many hats that I wear, I work part-time for a company that does like event standbys and like medical stuff. And we went and did a big like ultra race up in the mountains, in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado.
Okay.
And we were and on day 2, I had to ride my dirt bike up. Lucky me, I got paid to ride my dirt bike, right?
Nice. Yeah.
I had to moto up probably about 13,000 feet into the Rockies. And I got almost to the top of where I needed to go, and I had a mechanical failure on my bike. Like, unable to go any further, unable to turn around and go back. I was stuck at 13,000 feet in the Rocky Mountains by myself.
Wow.
I had radio contact with the other people that were running the aid stations in the event, but I was essentially by myself.
Wow.
And I sat down for a minute, and I'm like, okay, like, I got to think about this. What am I going to do? So I'm going to pause right there, and I'm going to stop and say, Ashley, before Inside Out Institute, this is what I would have done. I would have sat on that rock, and I would have cried, and I would have threw a fit, and I would have went, God, why me? Like, why? What did I do to deserve this?
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, because I've had the training and the coaching with you and the healing sessions with our amazing practitioners, like, I didn't have that negative mindset. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do to get myself off this mountain? How am I going to rescue myself from a bad situation? And literally, I started walking. Like I had to hike 8 miles out pushing a 200-pound dirt bike. And I just started walking down the mountain. And every time, like every step I take or I'd stop because it was hot, I'm like, God, this sucks. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I'm like, no. Coach Todd always said there's one way to eat an elephant, and that's one bite at a time. So literally, like I told myself that for miles, and I'm like, that's what I got to do. One bite at a time, one step at a time to rescue myself off of this mountain and out of that situation.
That's good. I mean, obviously, a lot of people are not thinking proactively. They're reactive and not proactive. And it takes meditation. It takes a stillness and a surrender of the subconscious, because it can really be your worst enemy. What can you do about it? So it's a great question for our audience. When you are faced with hell, okay, great. What can you do about it to get out of it and get into that heaven? So what does it feel like when, I don't know what the scene was. It could be like a movie, right? It's like, what happened when you were either rescued or when you were safe? Like, tell me about that. So you walked down the mountain and like you were fine, or like what was like the outcome of it?
Sure. So I did about 10 miles. I was lucky on the downhills. I was able to get on my bike and just let it kind of roll down the hill.
Okay.
But I feel like I definitely pushed my bike up more hills than I did go down. And it was in those moments where I'm like, honestly, at first I was kind of like, oh man, like this sucks. Like, how can I make, a negative situation into a positive?
Yep.
And, literally I just thought about all the things like I needed to do next time for the next time I went out. Like, hey, I needed to check the tension on my chain. Or, hey, I need to carry the $3 part that failed that left me on the mountain.
Right.
Literally a $3 part is what failed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Crazy.
all of these crazy life lessons. So I hiked for about 10 miles uphill, downhill in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. Not pretty. I mean, it was gorgeous terrain. The view was beautiful.
Of course,
the walk sucked.
Yeah. So was that movie when the guy cut his hand off because he was caught in the beautiful rocks, right? But he still had to cut his hand off to survive. I mean, Utah, Colorado. Yeah, that's almost like the dichotomy. It's like I could die, but at least I die in beautiful sceneries, right? So that's go on, right?
Yeah. So I walked for about 10 miles, and then I got to the point where finally I was close enough to where I knew I was probably about 2 miles from the truck where I was at that point.
Okay.
And luckily, like we left the single track and we were on like a 2-track kind of like off-road trail. And I just happened to get lucky, and somebody in a side-by-side kind of pulled up, and I'm like, thank you, God. Like, please tell me.
Oh, really?
Please tell me you have a tow strap. And literally they did.
No way.
And
Awesome.
I was able to get towed the last 2 miles in, and oh my gosh, like I almost had tears of joy. Like I was so grateful for them that they were able to take the time out of their off-road schedule and just help me get back. Because I was getting to the point where I was like, oh man, I am so tired. I am exhausted.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. It's really life though. I mean, you're literally on a 13,000 high mountain in Colorado, which is rough terrain. I mean, it's the Rockies, right? And a $3 issue could have killed you.
Exactly.
But in reality, it's the brain that could have killed you. And it's the mindset of, oh my gosh, why does this happen? And you could be whining, you could be, crying, you could be pounding sand, you could be, why, God, why? But it doesn't matter, because no one's feeling bad for you alone on a mountain. So what you got to do as a warrior, and this is what people got to get. Look, life, just like You Versus You, the book that I wrote, like what do I talk about in the book? You got to be a warrior, right? If you really want to win the battle of you versus your relationships and your finances, this isn't a game. It's war. And you got a lot of stuff coming at you. You got a lot of negative news. You got a lot of crap out there that you're either going to succumb to it and become a victim and whine about it and bitch and complain about your life and how it's not great and how your spouse isn't like him and your spouse isn't like her. Or you can do what Ashley Isabell did. You can have a conversation point blank with your spouse that you said you didn't like too much, and you say, this is what we need to do. And then you took the action, you versus your promises. You actually took the action and actually stuck to your guns. And not only you didn't have expectations for him, you just focused on your own expectations of who you are as a person, which made everyone around you happier to be around you. And then when you're in a situation by yourself, when no one's watching, only of course God, right? You can pray all day, but you have to start moving.
Exactly. You have to take action to get yourself off the mountain.
Absolutely.
Any mountain you have to put forth the effort to get off the mountain.
Absolutely.
God's not going to rescue you.
Yeah, exactly. No one is going to go rescue you. But the good news is you can get the guidance and the coaching from other people that know what they're talking about. And it's not fluff. It's something that, the reason that we have Inside Out Institute, where I'm a CEO and you're a client, is the name of it came from my belief that everyone does possess 100% of the ingredients to be great within themselves. And I don't know why it is, but you can't just be great by yourself. You have to have the right people pull the greatness from your inside out. Okay. And that's mentors, coaches, practitioners, mastermind group, people that really have your back and encourage you, because we're all human beings and we love the human encouragement and recognition and notoriety. We definitely don't thrive on, critics and, being critical and you're no good. I mean, we all need to hear that we do have greatness inside of us, but we're not always living a great life. And we're not always performing. So kind of in closing, Ashley, what's the one outcome that you're just so excited about that you've already achieved this year? 2020, it's been a horrible, great, whatever perspective you have, but what's like the number one outcome that because you joined Inside Out Institute that you got now that you're just like, it's priceless? Do you have one in mind?
I do. 2020 has been such a roller coaster year for everybody. And it's been such a negative, overwhelming year. And I think for myself, the fact that I've been able to come in this year like negative and completely overwhelmed to totally like taking 2020 and just overcoming it, like achieving, like getting over that mountain. And just the fact that I've been able to change my mindset to a positive mindset and be more involved and be willing to change.
Yeah.
In such a negative world like that, it's priceless to me.
Yeah, it's easy to be a victim. It's easy now. It's easy to look at Instagram and be like, hey, you can be like all those people. I'm gonna go riot like everyone else. I'm gonna go against our president like everyone else, or go against, go for him, or go against whatever. It's just it's so easy to be a part of the crowd. But what it's hard is taking a stand for yourself and separating yourself from whatever all the negative people are doing. So I want to commend you for that. I want to honor you for that. And great job for, I'm telling you, 90% of people won't do what you did. They just won't. They're lazy. They're in their comfort zone, even though they're negative. And, people love, it's a drug. Being negative is like cocaine. It's like a drug. It's like, I love being negative. I love it. But you were in that negative space, and you know what I'm talking about. It's like, it's easy to be like attack mode, right? Like, I'm going to get another husband. I'm just going to divorce you. But then you had the awareness that, wait a minute, that's not very good for our 4-year-old. And that's not going to be good for our future. So you had the awareness. So I just want to commend you for that. Where can people follow you on Instagram and also Facebook?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook at Ashley Isabell. And then on Instagram, it's kind of an interesting one. It's Dirt Rider with a Y and then 90.
Okay.
And that's where you can find me on Instagram.
That's easy. Dirt is a Y instead of an I with dirt.
Yep. Dirt Rider with a Y.
Very, very cool. Ashley, you're awesome. And, you did do something that, if I can just, close it with this, that's pretty interesting. You relied on your instincts, but also the unknown. Because if you only relied on your instincts, and I know how you got started with us, you might not be on this interview right now. But they were there for your guidance, but you also were in uncharted waters, and you still said yes. And I just want to commend you for that you actually stepped up in your own personal life, and you are winning now the you versus you battle. So congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for being such a great sport in the beginning and with the technical difficulties. So I'm so glad that we're able to have this interview. It's priceless.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on. I'm grateful and appreciative for you, Coach.
All right, you too. Well, you rock. Have a great rest of your night. I know you got to get to work, so hopefully you have a nice, safe night out there.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ashley.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for being on.